Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, welcome for the first time. And tonight, it's worth every page. Big book tag. Stay tuned. Okay everyone, so before we begin, just want to say that if you know our girl Layla, I'll just say that you stay till the end, because we got a very special gift today from my sister-in-law, and thank you Melinda, and I'm going to show that off at the end of the video, so stay for that. Right, and this is an original tag created by Shelly at Shellyish, and I was tagged by Book Chat with Pat and Kevin Towell Reads, and go check out their wonderful channels below. I'll link them down below. And there's one prompt, people. Big books can be intimidating, but some are absolutely worth the time, the effort, and the restraint. In this tag, share 3 or more books around 800 pages or longer that you believe earned every single page. Whether they were emotionally sweeping, intellectually satisfying, or just wildly entertaining. These are the chunksters that prove their worth. Yeah, I can guarantee that most of mine are more entertaining and kind of intellectually challenging, but that's just who I am. And then I've made some rules for myself, people. Number 1, must be books I own. So unfortunately I can't talk about Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I no longer own the book, but I am in the process of getting a copy because I want to reread the series. I want to read on in the series, so I need to reread Pillars of the Earth. And the other one is Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts, which I read as a teen, and it's magnificent, people. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about those two big chonkers because I don't own them. And then number 2, must be 5-star reads, although I've actually cheated a little bit. The last book I'm going to show you is more like a 4.5 star out of 5. But yeah, I'm still going to share that with you. And the third rule I set myself is it cannot be a collection of books in a single volume. So for example, Stephen Donaldson, The Chronicles of Thomas Covenant the Unbeliever, magnificent series. One of my favorite fantasy series of all time. And yeah, in this big volume, 3 books in one. So yeah, cannot count. So let's get started. The first book is Clive Barker, Imajica. Now, this is over 1,100 pages. It's a chunker, and it's absolutely beautiful, people. It's an epic dark fantasy, and it's a system called the Imajica. It's made up of worlds. I think it's 5 or 6 worlds, and our world is one of them. And yeah, our world has been cut off from the rest of the worlds, and it's all about trying to reconcile the worlds together. But it's just the most incredible journey with amazing characters, and in each different world you got these unique races and creatures, and yeah, it's just spectacularly imaginative, and it's so immersive, it's so layered, and it's an amazing story as well. And yeah, I think the 2 things that really stand out for me about Clive Barker, not just in Imajica but in all his dark fantasy books, is number 1 is his prose. His prose, people, is absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and it will want you reading more. You never get tired of it. And second of all, his imagination. Every page there's visions, and there's creatures and monsters, and his imagination has no bounds. I mean, he's also an artist, and it's seriously crazy art, and yeah, he's just a man of many talents, and this is a gorgeous book that you can get lost in and get completely immersed in. So that is Imajica. Okay, one more epic fantasy before we get to the horror. And this is Magician by Raymond Feist. And now this is in my top 10 books of all time, people. And it might be cheating a little bit because I heard somewhere that it's actually part 1 and part 2. But when I read it, I saw it as a single novel. And yeah, you can read it as a standalone novel, but it's part of a very long series. A frickin' brilliant series of fantasy. And yeah, it starts off simple enough. You got this boy Pug who's in this little village outpost in this kingdom called Creedy. And he becomes a magician's apprentice because he can't become a warrior or any of that stuff because like the other boys, like the other guys in the village, because he's just not strong enough. And it's a bit of a weakling. But he becomes a magician's apprentice. And then the kingdom is invaded by like kind of alien forces. There's a lot of war in this book. There's a lot of... it's actually freaking dark in places. There's demons, there's all sorts of stuff. But yeah, this tranquil kingdom gets invaded and it just explodes from there. As I said, war, magic. Traveling through time and space. It's just powerful, it's imaginative, it's immersive, and just brilliant characters. You've got Pug, and you've got another character, Thomas, who's his childhood friend, who becomes like this warrior. Sort of. Yeah, so it's just, I couldn't put it down, and yeah, it's a very beloved book, classic fantasy. Now I think it's still, even though it's an 80s book, I think it still holds well today, holds up, and yeah, give it a try. Magician, Raymond Feist. Might find yourself addicted. Next up we have The Terror by Dan Simmons. Now this is historical fiction, it's a historical horror novel, and it's based like on a true story. It's very much attention to detail of the ill-fated Franklin expedition. Yeah, and obviously Dan Simmons adds a little bit of a supernatural touch. But the main thing about this book is that it is incredibly detailed. It might turn some people off, but it's just attention to detail and research on the actual Franklin expedition, and basically how, the workings of a ship at that time, and the men, and the responses to their situation. And then they get trapped in the ice, and it just turns out to be this absolutely brutal, horrific tale of human survival, and yeah, kind of hunger, disease. I'm not going to go any more into that, but it is harrowing, people. It's all set in Arctic ice, the cold expanses, the wasteland, the Arctic, and I got to a point in the book, I think it was about halfway, where I could not put it down. It was like 7 or 8 in the evening, and I read this book the whole night, people. Yeah, the whole night I could not put this book down. I just wanted to see what happens to these characters. And Kevin from Kevin Towel Reads mentioned this. They're pretty much one thing you have to have in a really long book is you have to have characters that you care about. Kind of, and you have to have world building, the setting, it's immersive. There's certain things that have to happen, otherwise you're going to put the book down. And yeah, for all of these incredible characters, especially the next book, and powerful world building, and yeah, in this case just tension and dread and horror. So that is The Terror, Dan Simmons. Okay, now we've got my favourite novel of all time. I couldn't leave this out of the picture. That's Swan Song by McCammon. And yeah, this is a post-apocalyptic horror novel of good versus evil, often compared to The Stand, and I think it's far superior. And yeah, it's about basically a nuclear war. Bombs are dropped, and the world is a wintry nuclear wasteland, and it's about the survivors. And the characters are unforgettable. As in most Robert McCammon books, he does characters so well, people. So much depth, so much layers. And I will never forget the wonderful Swan, her sister, and Josh, so awesome. And I'll also never forget the villains, and in particular there's is it Robert? Wait, let me just check here. Yeah, it's Roland. And it's not Roland the Gunslinger. This Roland is absolutely wicked, horrifying. And yeah, just the characters are just breathtaking, fantastic. But also the world building. And the whole thing, that one thing I like about these kind of books is that even though you've got moments of absolute terror and horror, there's also a sense that runs through the book that there's hope and that there's love in this book as well. As I say, it's good versus evil. It's not just this nihilistic thing that runs throughout. It's good versus evil. So you've got hope, you've got love, you've got redemption. Those themes as well. But this is just a magnificent, magnificent novel. And I definitely want to read it again before I die. Yeah. So, Swan Song. Okay, and for my final book, I was going to do Stephen King It, or Stephen King The Stand. The first time, the complete and uncut edition. It's my battered copy. And this is probably the longest book that I own. It's about 1,400 pages. But these books have been done already. Kevin talked about The Stand and mentioned it. So I'm going to go with something different, people. I'm going to go with Perdido Street Station by China Mabel. And yeah, it's a chunker, maybe just over 800 pages. But it's a superb blend of weird fiction, science fiction in there, there's horror, there's kind of fantasy, dark fantasy, and it's truly strange, but really, really good. The prose is exquisite, and yeah, it's about the city. I think it's called New Cruisebon, something like that. And it's about this guy who's like a mad scientist type, yeah. And this outsider comes into the city, half man, half bird, who can no longer fly. So he goes to seek the help of this scientist, who tries to help him to fly again. It's a crazy experiment, stuff like that. But also just the whole city as a character in itself. It's dark, it's dangerous. And the people in the city, or the creatures in the city, they're mutants, they're villains, they're criminals. And yeah, imagination astounds me. It's just incredible. The world building, you get lost. And it's dark and it's dangerous. And it's weird creatures, yeah. So I have to say, yeah, it is strange. Some of the prose might take getting used to in places. But this is a book you can get lost in. And once again, it's about the characters, it's about the story, it's about the plot, and it's about the world building and the immersion. I think that's a key word that needs to happen here with long books. You get lost in a book like this. Oh, and by the way, I did do a full review of Perdido Street Station, so I'll put that at the end of the movie soon, end of the video. And yeah, I just hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so I said at the beginning of the video, got something a little bit extra. Well, my sister-in-law, thank you so much, Melinda, if you're watching, I think you might be. Yeah, she sent us a very special gift. We've got a German Shepherd, Layla, we love very much, she's our daughter. And she did a diamond painting, people, of Layla. Yeah, approximation of Layla. Check this out. How cool is that? How cool is that? So yeah, we're going to have it framed, we're going to frame it ourselves. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. And then just quickly before we go, she also, my wife used to do ballet, so she did this diamond painting as well. Pretty cool, eh? Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Melinda. Okay, everyone, so that's my video for tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. Have you read any of those books I've just mentioned? What are your favorite big books? Ones that really stand out for you? And for you, what does it mean? What does a big book have to make it so that you just keep turning those pages and you can't stop? besides characters and the things that I mentioned, am I missing something? What else does a big book need to have in terms of, let me know. And take care of yourselves, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Until next time, keep those pages turning, and cheers.